What's up, YouTube? This is TERR0R TV. The suspect in a deadly attack on New Year's revelers in New Orleans has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen and U.S. Army veteran from Texas, according to the FBI. At least 15 people lost their lives and over 24 injured after a rented Ford pickup truck was driven through a crowd on Bourbon Street at a high rate of speed early Wednesday. Efforts continue late into the evening to learn more about the suspect and the incident. These efforts included the breach and search of 2 locations, an Airbnb in New Orleans that may be tied to the suspect, and a residence in Houston that has been linked to Jabbar. The Airbnb was involved in some kind of fire or detonation earlier in the day, which raised concern about the possibility that there are more explosives linked to the suspect that are yet to be recovered. FBI Houston released a statement saying that it is working with the Harris County Sheriff's Office to conduct a court-authorized search of an address near the intersection of Hugh Road and Crescent Peak Drive in Houston. The statement said, "At this time, no arrests have been made, and FBI personnel will be at the scene for several more hours." They also cautioned the public to stay away from the restricted area. Specialized teams focusing on the operation include the FBI SWAT team, crisis negotiators, special agent bomb technicians, tactical operations center, evidence response team, and a group of counterterrorism investigators, according to FBI Houston. A flag of a known terrorist organization was found on a pole on a truck's trailer hitch, and authorities are working to determine whether the deceased suspect had any affiliation with that organization or any other organizations. However, authorities do believe Jabbar was radicalized in the last few years, and that radicalization may have been exacerbated by the Israeli-Hamas war. And the FBI is studying videos the suspect appears to have recorded while driving from Texas to Louisiana. The suspect is not seen, but is allegedly heard talking about his divorce and about a desire to unalive members of his family before ultimately deciding to carry out the attack on Bourbon Street. The suspect is also heard talking about a well-known organization that is in the news right now. There's also reports that a friend of the now deceased Jabbar says that from his observation, Jabbar became radicalized and converted to Islam over the last year and began acting erratically in recent months, and that this behavior caused him to have limited contact with his children. Yeah, so, I'm just going to say this. The whole act of driving vehicles into crowds, the detonation of explosions, this type of stuff has been going on overseas, in particular the Middle East, although in Europe as well, but particularly in the Middle East. This has been going on for decades. these types of attacks. And it's interesting because Americans, and I hate to say this, but when we see these things going on over in Israel or Palestine, Palestinians, whatever, we go, oh, that's a shame, and then go about our lives, right? But I kind of felt like this stuff was going to start happening, and we have been warned about this stuff for years, and it so annoys me. Um, and I hate to keep harping on the media, right? But actually, I don't. I don't hate harping on the media because they deserve it. Because of the fact that many people in the media play politics, and they don't want to make an administration that they're rooting for look bad. So they downplay threats that have been persisting for months and years. They don't report or underreport certain things that need to be reported. At the end of the day, there have been people that have been warning about these types of things are beginning to occur over here for years. And the media, for the most part, except for independent media, tries to ignore it. I remember back in the 90s, I think I've repeated this quite a few times. There was a congressman named Bob Dornan. I think he was a conservative from Southern California. Might have represented Orange County, but I can't remember. I know he represented Southern California. I think he was a Korean War veteran. But anyway, he's going on TV, and this is the 90s when everything was good. Clinton was president, the economy was roaring. People were more concerned about domestic issues. We felt like America had turned the corner when it come to foreign crises. The Cold War was over. So, but he was warning uh, Americans. He wasn't the only one, but he had been warning for quite a while that we are very vulnerable to these types of attacks. And he said that I think in the next coming years, we're going to have an event. I remember him saying this. I was in high school, and I always thought that was very credible, considering he's a congressman. So he's hearing something. He's observing. He's talking to people. He's hearing some type of noise. He's getting some type of intel that we should be listening to. But they didn't pay him any attention. And then we had 2001, September 11th. And I've been hearing for quite a few years people warning about these types of things are going to start happening in America. Cars, or vehicles, I should say, driving into crowds, explosives detonating. As bad as this thing was yesterday, if those explosives had gone off, it would have been even worse. I think we're talking about at least 100 perished. So look, this type of stuff is now, unfortunately, is going to begin happening more and more on American soil. And I don't think the answer to it is to stop living your life and hide, cower, be cautious, but be vigilant, be skeptical. By that I mean never trust, what I'm saying, everything to be just what you think it is, what I'm saying. Be very observant of your surroundings. And if you see anybody suspicious, report it. You know what I'm saying? And stay away from that person. We gotta, this ain't 1955 no more, man. And for that matter, this ain't 1995. And I hate to say it, but, and I have to say both administrations, the last two administrations are at fault to a certain extent, but let's be honest, this situation exacerbated itself during the Biden administration. We've had a lot of people infiltrate this country. A lot of people cross over, and according to reports, there are at least 1,300 to 1,500. What's the word I want to use? I don't want to use the T word, but let's say individuals that want to do us harm based upon their disdain for this country. At least 1,500 of those types of dudes that crossed into this country. There are known terror cells within this country, and they have been actively planning to do things like this on us for months, if not years, actually years. So none of this stuff is very surprising to me, you know. But anyway, tell me what you guys think. Be careful what you say on YouTube. This is YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Gotta word things a certain type of way. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.
Core real.